Hey folks, so I just wanted to do a recap on this video that was originally shot in February of 2021 when my friend Jose first got that 2004 Prius. He drove that car for 3 years, so he bought it for around $4,000 to $4,700 range, and it is a 2004 like you saw in the video, and I believe it had approximately 125,000 miles on it when he bought it, if I'm not mistaken. And he got rid of it this year, which now we're in August of 2024, and it's been at least 4 or 5 months. So let's say he owned it for 3 years, and I was always kept up to date on what he did to that vehicle. So within the first year of him owning it, now again, he bought this car and it was almost 20 years old at the time, so it still had the original battery, which was shocking, right? But you know, you bought a car for less than $5,000, 20 years old, you're going to expect to have some maintenance. So you saw that 2-week ownership report where he was still ecstatic of it because it was fresh and it was new. Fast forward to 3 years, where were we at? That kind of sealed the deal for him to part ways with this car. He put about 55,000 miles on this car. Last time I saw it, I think he had about 174,000 miles on it. So again, he owned it for 3 years. It was mostly reliable, except for some age-related failures. Something that happens on the Gen 2s is the LCD dash pod goes bad, and if you don't fix it yourself with a soldering iron and a capacitor and you feel comfortable pulling apart the dash, it can be expensive. He had an OEM new unit installed by a reputable dealership and the mileage program to match what was on there. That was around $800. Again, the car was almost 20 years old. The capacitors and the LCD digital combo meter go bad. He went with a more reputable mechanic that I go to, which is Specialized Automotive in Modesto. They mostly work on Toyotas and Hondas. The second age-related thing that has happened to these vehicles is they start eating tires because the struts go bad. Same thing happened in my 2008. So he replaced the struts, and that was around $1,500. Again, 20-year-old plus car. So at this point, let's just call it regular maintenance, right? He got rid of it in its 20th year. But I still think that that's fine for a car to be 20 years old and you're doing. So now let's say we're in for 2,000. The big thing that happened in the first year that he owned the vehicle, the hybrid battery failed probably less than a year after he bought it. Now, on my 2008, my battery failed in 2022, and it was at 200,000 miles. His was 4 years older than mine, and the battery lasted just as long, the original hybrid battery. He opted to use a Green Bean refurbished battery, which was half the cost of an OEM unit. The OEM hybrid battery cost around $3,000. He did the Green Bean remanufactured, where they just do cell replacement and rebalance it. That's around $1,500, but it does come with a warranty. And just to kind of show you, I don't know if I feel confident in the refurbished balanced battery. That refurbished battery lasted about 1.5 years, and then it failed and he had to wait a week for them to come back out and replace it. So that was kind of an inconvenience, right? But the real crux of the matter, it's a 20-year-old car and it had been mostly fine. Battery replacement, age-related, strut replacement, age-related, combo meters, they go bad on these cars, age-related. The drip seam on the roof has a rubber trim piece that snaps in place, and below that, where they did the original welds, they use a lot of seam sealer. And something that is failing on these Gen 2s is on the body line of the drip rail on the roof towards the back, the seam sealer fails. And what happens is when it fails, we had a really bad winter, lots of rain, as it usually in the wintertime in Northern California, it rains a lot. All that rainwater started getting through the crack in the seam sealer and leaking straight down to where the 12-volt battery is. So he would start having electrical problems. It started shorting out things. It wasn't draining properly. There's a little grommet that you can pop and get the water to drain out quickly, but that 12-volt battery sits down in the cargo area in a lower area and water was getting in there and causing all kinds of electrical gremlins. And I had instructed him to just fill it with silicone, because I'd seen a lot of people on YouTube instruct something similar, and that was a solution. He had kind of lost confidence in the vehicle at that point. He ended up selling it to CarMax for around $1,500. So, you know, he still recouped, let's just say, a quarter of his original investment in buying the car, and he got 3 years out of it. But, you know, the major things were the hybrid battery, that was around $1,500. Struts were around $1,500 all around. And then the combo meter was around $800. So in 3 years of him owning that vehicle that he bought for around $4,500, he had 3 major things go wrong. I still think it's a win, because he was getting in the 40 plus miles to the gallon. And, you know, again, it was a 20-year-old car. Overall, I think he was happy, but at the end of the day, it just kind of, the electrical stuff with the seam sealer going bad kind of was the nail in the coffin for that vehicle. So it is what it is. I'm happy that he at least tried it for 3 years. I'm still going the distance with my Gen 2. I'll have to do an update on my 2008 soon. But since this video was originally posted on the original Corey Unlisted channel and I lost it, I thought I would repost it with this prologue afterwards to kind of see, okay, originally this video was posted 3 years ago. Where is that Prius today? And it was just, I'm really good at remembering what he did, because he would always call me to ask, so I felt like he didn't need to be here for that, and I thought maybe it would be helpful to those who you could see what these vehicles are encountering as time goes by. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.